Our topic today is about the laws of exponents. And today's memory verse is found in Genesis 1, verse 28. It says, "And God blessed them, and God said to them, be fruitful and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves on the earth." At the end of this class, you'll be able to derive the laws of exponent. Now we start by asking, what is an exponent? Let me share a whiteboard. Now, for example, we have the expression x to the power of 3. X is called the base, while 3 is called the exponent. The exponent tells us how many times are you going to multiply the number by itself. So if you say x to the power 3, it means that's x that would mean x times x times x. That is x to the power of 3. Now, let us start with these problems. Ready? We'll have some laws to have today. Now, remember here we have the base and the exponent. A is called the base, while n is called the exponent. We have 5 laws to learn today. The first is the product law, then the quotient law, the power law on products, and the power law on quotient. Let's start with the first one. The product law states that if you will multiply same bases, you will only add the exponents. For example, let me snip the first one. Here, for example, we have 5 to the power of 4 times 5 to the power of 2. They have the same base, 5. So what will you do? You simply add their exponents. You copy the base, then you add the exponents, 4 plus 2. The answer is 5 to the 6th power. Or if you want to simplify it, that's 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. That will be, the answer will be 15,625. The next one, n to the 5th power times n to the 9th power. They have the same base, so you copy the base. Then you need to add the exponents. 5 plus 9, that is 14. So the answer is n to the power of 14. The next one, we have negative 5, a to the 8th power times 2, a to the 3rd power. We have the same base for a, so you copy the base. Then You add the exponents. 8 plus 3, that's 11. What will you do to the numerical coefficients? You can multiply them. Negative 5 times 2, that is negative 10. So the answer is negative 10, 8 to the 11th power. Next, let's go to example number 4. We have two bases, A and B. So we start first by adding the exponents for base A. So we have 3 plus 7. The answer is 10. For B, we have 4 plus 10. That is 14. So this is now the answer. Now let's go to the next one. Let me first snip another. Here. The quotient law states that if x is any non-zero real number and m and n are natural numbers, then what do we do? Here's how I say it. When we divide exponential expressions with the same base, then we copy the base and we subtract the exponents. Will it be in the numerator or in the denominator? The answer will be the bigger exponent, the larger exponent will stay. So if the larger exponent is in the numerator, it will stay in the numerator. But if the larger exponent is in the denominator, then do it in the denominator. For example, let me snip another one for our example. For example, we have this one. We have the same base, 5. So what do? We subtract the exponents. The larger exponent is in the numerator. So we have 5, 10 minus 2. So the answer is 5 to the 8th power. Or another, if the exponent and the numerator and denominator are the same, the answer is 1. Why? It's going to be x to the 5th power minus 5. That will be x to the 0 power. And remember, any number except 0 raised to the 0 exponent, the answer is 1. Another, for example, x to the power of 3 over x to the power of 8. Where is the larger exponent? It's in the denominator. So what do? You need to subtract it in the denominator. That's 8 minus 3. What happens to the numerator? If there's nothing left in the numerator, then you can write 1. The answer will be 1 over x to the 5th power. Do you have any questions?
Wala po, ma'am.
Okay, that's good. Now let's go to the third one. Ready? Here. The power of the power states that if the exponent is multiplied or raised again to another exponent, then you need to multiply the exponents. This is different. X to the m times x to the n. Again, if it's in the same base, what will you do? You need to add the exponents. But if the exponent is raised to another exponent, then you need to multiply the exponents. For example, like this one, 2 times 6, the answer is 10 to the power of 12. Next, 3 to the power of 3, the answer is 9. 4 to the power of 3, then the answer is 12. 5 to the power of 10, that's 5 times 10. The answer is 50. But remember, when a negative whole number, if a negative number is raised to an even exponent, the answer is positive. Example, if negative 2 to the third power is raised to the fourth power, then the answer will be 2, that becomes positive, then to the power of 12. Now, let's go to the fourth one. The fourth one is the power law on a product. Now, the power law of a product is just the same as power of the power, but there is more than one base. So we need to distribute the exponents. For example, that's negative 3x to the fourth power. So we need to distribute 4 to negative 3 and to x. So it becomes negative 3 to the fourth power times x to the fourth power. When a negative number is raised to an even exponent, the answer is positive. So what is 3 times 3 times 3 times 3? The answer is 81. X to the fourth power. In the next one, the same will apply. Distribute. So we have 5 to the fifth power. Next, we have x squared to the fifth power. And the last, we have y to the fifth to the fifth power. So the answer will be 5 to the fifth is 3,125. 2 times 5 is 10. Then 5 times 5 is 25. The last law is the power on a quotient. It's very similar to the previous law, but how do we do that? Here. We also distribute it, like x to the power of 5 over 2 to the power of 5. So we have 2 to the power of 5 is 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. The answer is 32. In the other side, we have negative 3 raised to the third power, then a raised to the third power over, at the bottom, 5 raised to the third power, and b raised to the third power. When a negative number is raised to an odd exponent, the answer is still negative. And 3 times 3 times 3 is equal to negative 27 a cubed over 5 times 5 times 5 is 125 b cubed. Now, the last one is on negative exponents. Now, how to make, what will you do if there is a negative exponent? We do not allow any negative exponents in the answer. So if the negative exponent is in the numerator, then we place it in the denominator. If the negative exponent is in the denominator, then we transfer it to the numerator. For example, this one. Only s has a negative exponent, so 3 will stay. And since this is in the numerator, we transfer it down. That becomes s squared. In the next one, here, the negative exponent is in the denominator. We transfer it up, it becomes y to the power of 8. Or for here, the negative exponent is in the numerator. We transfer it down, x cubed. And the 1 in the denominator, we transfer it up. You have y to the power of 4. Do you have any other questions?